session, I would like to give a small introduction about Gibbon for those who are new here today. So the Global Youth Biodiversity Network, or GYBN, was founded in 2010. It's a global network of young people and youth organizations who work together to protect biodiversity and to build a future where humans live in harmony with nature. Since 2012, GYBN has been officially recognized as the international coordination platform for youth participation under the Convention on Biological Diversity, which is also known as the CBD. Today, GYBN is spread all over the world with 53 national chapters and a community of over 1 million young members. So GYBN Sri Lanka is a part of this global family, and we mainly focus on protecting our national biodiversity, promoting it, and raising awareness on biodiversity-related issues. So we carry out diverse projects, campaigns, and discussions like this to make sure young voices are heard in conservation and environmental protection. So now, coming to today's speaker, we are truly lucky to have her with us. Dr. Gayomini Panagoda is a postdoctoral researcher at Avian Sciences and Conservation at University of Colombo. Her research mainly focuses on bird migration, movement ecology, and landscape-level threats to waterbird populations in northern part of Sri Lanka with special emphasis on Mannar Island. She earned her PhD in bird migration ecology and works closely with the renowned ornithologist Professor Sampath Seneviratne. Her work beautifully connects science, conservation, and the magical biodiversity of Mannar, which makes her the perfect person to guide us through today's topic. So without taking more time, I warmly invite Dr. Gayomini Panagoda to take over the session. Over to you, Dr. Gayomini.
Well, Shehara, may I go ahead?
Yes, please, Dr. Gayomini.
Okay. So what I gathered was most of you must not have been to Mannar, right? So I'm going to keep it like very simple, and I'm going to keep it like an introduction to Mannar, and the rich bird life we have, and there are stories, migratory stories that our studies revealed, and what we learned from that, and how we go forward, and with all the threats that this beautiful landscape faces at the moment. So before I start, I want to see you, but I want to see this show this little video clip to you. For the ones who have not been to Mannar, this shows a cross section through the Mannar Island captured by my professor Sampath Seneviratne while he was traveling from Mannar to Mannar in the train. Where Right. So welcome to my talk finally. So as I told you, so I'll be talking about the story stories of Manike and Mary, and to the discovery of the Hanuman Plover and the magic that we. So now I guess at least some of you must have been to Mannar. So this is Mannar Island, which is located at the northwestern part of the country, at the northwestern tip, connecting Sri Lanka to the Hanuman Island in southeastern India through the sand island chain of the legendary Rama's Bridge. So right at this tip, we are located, our research station, where I am now. So from here, we conduct our research from 2018. And this is it, the Sandpiper House. Now, yeah, the Mannar, if you ask me to introduce Mannar in 3 words, I would say it's an island of wetlands. So we all know, so you must know that the wetlands are really, really important to keep the life on our planet. So if we present the statistics, 40% of all species in the planet Earth live or breed in wetlands. And over 1 billion people make a living from wetlands. So economically, it's more, worthier than a tropical rainforest or deserts or grasslands. And it provides us with food. So Mannar, the broader Pork Bay has Sri Lanka's richest fish stocks. And wetlands, of course, help create the conditions for life. So this is an island full of wetlands. So just as these wetlands support the livelihoods of the people that live in Mannar, so it also supports these millions of birds, especially the waterbirds that makes the habitat of more than 120 species annually, only the migratory species. So these numbers can go up to from like 400,000 up to 1 million annually, the overwintering waterbirds in Mannar. So some of these charismatic and rare and globally endangered waterbirds that migrate to Mannar are presented in this slide. So you all know the greater flamingos and the rarities like bar-tailed godwit, and then the great knot, and the world's rarest shorebird here, the spoonbill sandpiper. All these species is being recorded in Mannar. Or it's also one place that you can see some of these shorebirds that you would find nowhere else within Sri Lanka. So it's a very important place for the migratory birds in the country. So this happens during the northern winter, starting from like late August, late September to next year's March, April. But what happens when they leave? They leave they leave Sri Lanka after the winter has passed in the higher latitudes. When the spring comes, they fly north. And what happens to Mannar then? Does it go, will it become deserted? No. The Mannar transfers, its face, and so the landscape would be dry, and all the wetlands appears like like a desert, almost a desert. But then the resident waterbirds in Mannar, like these terns, start to breed in these islands in mainland Mannar as well, but in extensive numbers in the Rama's Bridge Islands. So we have 8 nationally threatened, some critically endangered, some vulnerable, some endangered seabirds breeding in these islands. So in some years, these numbers can go up to 30,000 individuals in a single breeding colony. So, right. So before moving further and start looking at the migration and how we study migration, I want to show you the field side of us and this and the kind of work that we do. This is a video made by one of our team members and a very good Jude. So let's see it before we move forward. Well, you can hear the sound now, right? Yes. Oh, cool. Great. Okay. Okay. That's Mannar. And that's how we do our migration research in Mannar, in the base of the Ramas Bridge. Right. So let's talk about migration. So, the migrants move in a cycle as a response to seasonal changes. So as seasons are more pronounced in the higher latitudes, so the birds will move and come down to the lower latitudes in the subtropics and the tropics. So the most common migration pattern that we see in Earth is a migration that can happen in a north-south axis. There are different types of migration, but the one that we are focusing on is this the most common north-south migration, the migration that happens in a north-south axis. So there are major global flyways identified for the purpose of to conduct research and also to conduct for the conservation work. So there are 9 such global migratory flyways. So the Central Asian flyway that Sri Lanka belongs to is right here. Now, out of all these global flyways, the Central Asian flyway is the least studied flyway and is a flyway that faces a lot of challenges because we are spread across, a lot of developing countries when it is compared to other flyways. So faces a lot of threats and not much information to overcome those challenges. So Sri Lanka, if I show you, Sri Lanka is located right at the tip, the southernmost destination of the flyway. So you can see we are above the tropic. So we are the shortest flyway in compared to all the other flyways that extend to the southern hemisphere passing the tropics. And here at the tip of the flyway, you can see how Sri Lanka is located. So Sri Lanka is in a crucial location when it comes to the migration systems within the flyway, because we are in a, if you consider this as a funnel, you can see that we are at the very tip, at the bottom of the funnel. So the birds that come as far west as, northeastern Europe to as east as Far Eastern Russia or like Kamchatka Peninsula. So the birds that are spread across this entire expanse comes down along this, past Central Asia and funnel through the Indian subcontinent, funnel at the both sides of the Himalayas, and some crosses the Himalayas and come down the Indian peninsula, and some stays here and some end up in Sri Lanka. Now there are different tools of to study migration. So the most commonly used one is the observation and population, the migrant watchers, like taking counts of the migrating birds, and the citizen science platforms like eBird help a lot. But if we want to look deeper into the migratory systems, migration studies, we have to go for bird banding and electronic tracking of the birds. That's what we do basically. So I'll show you how a bird banding session would work. So normally we work in the base of Rama's Bridge in Kalemana. So there's a large mud flat there, a very productive mud flat. So it's very busy during the migratory season, full of migratory shorebirds. So we would first, look for the gatherings where the large flocks are concentrated in the mud flat, and we lay this mist net across the frequently used flight paths of the bird. So these are the students from the University of Colombo working with some parts, and this is how the mist net looks like after it's erected. And this is how the camp looks like. So the birds would entangle in these nets, and we bring them to the processing station, and we do a lot of things. We check molting, we do the banding, and we take the measurements. This is to identify sometimes species, sometimes sexes, sometimes their growth rate, sometimes their age. We can take a whole lot of information while we do banding of the bird. We record all this information, and if required, we collect samples as well for different types of research, not just migration. Now, other than this conventional banding, in the conventional banding, we put a metal ring with a unique number, just like what we had our NIC number, and our address is engraved in the metal ring. But the limitation that the traditional bird banding has is, we have to recover the bird to get any information from it. So if you think, so we have to band millions of birds to get a decent recovery. So the bird has to fly somewhere else, and there another band should operate, and the bird should be captured by another ring somewhere else along its migratory flyway. And so you can see that there's very less chance, even like would be 3 to 5% chance of bird being recovered after banding. So the information that we can get becomes limited if the recovery rate is low. But in some flyways where extensive bird bringing schemes occur throughout the flyway, it's not a problem, but in our flyway, it's a problem. So this is a new concept that added later on after the researchers used bird banding for like a century. This tool was introduced to leg flag. This is called leg flagging. So there are two, we call them leg flags. So made of plastic, and there's the engraving here is, it's easily visible from a distance if you have good optics, a binocular or a camera or a telescope. And even if you can't read the flag from a distance, so if you can see the color, so for example, Sri Lanka has the double green flag code. So all the countries in a flyway has been assigned different color combinations. So just by looking at the color, we can, there are platforms made for observations of lake flag birds. So if you share that, if you see one of the flag birds, if you share that in the platform, it will be received by the scientists, and the observer also will get this knowledge where the bird has been and where it has been banded, and what is the connectivity, the migratory connectivity of the particular bird. So this technique has, has increased the recovery rate, the resighting rate of the bird, hence gives more information than a traditional bird banding. So we started lake flagging in Sri Lanka in 2020 when I started my PhD project in Mannar. This is an example of a resighting that we made in Mannar. Actually, this was observed by a photographer. He later shared this information with us, and we could track this bird's origin. The bird has been marked in Shanghai back in 2014, and it was recovered in Mannar in 2020. And this is a great knot, a globally endangered bird, and we came to know its migratory connectivity through this lake flagging. So still lake flagging has some limitations. So we could, like I have done here, we can draw a line between two locations where the bird has been marked and where the bird has been recovered or resighted. So it's a straight line, but in reality, it is not a straight line at all. So the bird will have an actual flight path based on the landscape, the habitats en route, and the resources that it needs on the way. So without knowing such information, these information are critical when it comes to conserve populations, the endangered populations. So we need more data with a high resolution, more finer data is needed. So the satellite tracking, there are different types of electronic tracking. Satellite tracking is one of them. So this offers a cutting edge technology to study the long distance migration of birds. So just after we started lake flagging, we also started tracking of birds using GPS GSM tags. So I'm not going to go into the technology in detail. If you are interested, we can come back to this later. So these trackers, the tracker that we use, are capable of collecting altitude data. Of course, the first GPS location, the latitude, longitude data, then the altitude data, the speed, and then the direction that it flies and their behavior. And then also we can get environmental data like temperature, light intensity. So these trackers are highly capable, and it has a fairly good high resolution when it comes to GPS location data as well. So I'm showing you here, different types of devices that we use. For different size classes, we have separate trackers assigned because always we make sure that when we tag a bird, the weight of all the attachments must be less than 3% of the bird's body weight. Sharing here is an example track of a European honey buzzard tracked from Western Europe up to East and South Africa. the exact route. So has tracked the speed and the altitude of flight. And so this information, when we track critical species, we can get an understanding about the ecological requirements that what the birds need to sustain their migratory patterns. And this information becomes highly useful in conservation planning. And that's in a global example. And now I'm going to show you the stories that our tag birds told us. So far we have successfully tracked about 13 waterbirds, 13 migrant waterbird species in Mannar and to some extent in other parts of the country. But most of our tagging work has been focused in Mannar. And these are some of the birds that we tagged, including we have mostly shorebirds and then coastal seabirds and ducks and few large resident waterbirds as well is in our sample. And if you move forward to some of the stories to see some of the stories that they have told us. So this is a Eurasian vision. Actually, two Eurasian visions tracks is being showed here. So we have given names for our birds so we can, identify and present their data easily. And if you think of the map of Mannar, if you're familiar with this landscape, you will recognize this is a Vankale sanctuary. So where the people come to see the flamingos normally, and then the Vettalview Nature Reserve here, and then Korakulam Tank right here. So in one day to their daily activity, their daily movement pattern is spread across these 3 protected areas. They just don't stay in one wetland, and they need this wetland network where they move between and fulfill their daily foraging and resting requirements. And then this is another shorebird, a bit rarer shorebird in Sri Lanka. The crab plover's movements, the crab plover's more, a more wider spatial extent, all the way from Adams Bridge. This is Adams Bridge here, and then here Vankale, Vettalview Nature Reserve, and up to Mannar Island and northwestern coastline up to Punari. So within like a week, they move around in this landscape. This is the Pork Bay, and they just don't stay within the Adams Bridge Islands where they were first marked. And more examples of the critically endangered, the globally near threatened bar-tailed godwit, how their home ranges and core ranges are spread in the Mannar Island when they are overwintering in here. And also the globally endangered great knot, how it moves back and forth between Sri Lanka and India always. Now, these are some individual examples. And what if we overlay the tracks generated by all the, actually 22 birds, the data from 22 birds I present here. And you can see how intricately connected the wetlands of Mannar are. So all the way from Rama's Bridge here in India to Adams Bridge and to Mannar, the mainland Mannar. And we have 3 protected areas by the Department of Wildlife Conservation. And all these areas, all these protected areas, and even the habitats outside the protected areas are well connected through both the coast, south and the northern coast, and also across the island. So that was clear with the information generated by the tag birds. And if we zoom out to look at the map of the Pork Bay Gulf of Mannar, well, now you can see their connectivity, spread from all the way from Point Calimere here. I hope you can see my cursor from Point Calimere to Putlam Peninsula in the west coast of Sri Lanka. And these movements are centered around the Mannar Island. And none of these are migratory tracks. These are the movements generated by the birds while they were overwintering in here. So if you think that the birds that overwinter in Mannar stays just in Mannar, it's not the case. They move all around. They go to Jaffna. They go to even to India and then come back again. During one wintering season, they move further south along the west coast and then come back to Mannar. They have movements between India and Sri Lanka across the Rama's Bridge Island chain. And the map in the right side shows you the spread of the home ranges of different groups. So you can, well, again, what I want to highlight here is how these home ranges are spread across the entire Walk Bay Gulf of Mannar region. And these are the major routes that we could identify from the birds that we tagged, that the birds use to move between these four ranges, the home ranges that are spread across this landscape. So zooming out further to look at in Sri Lanka scale, where we don't have much information from the birds that go to south, but the birds who always move north during migration. But we have one occasion, one of the tagged plovers crossed through inland routes. It reached the east coast of Sri Lanka and then tracked the east coast to go down to the southern coast of the country, especially the Kalamatiya sanctuary. So this is the one example, one example we have to show how the migratory shorebirds that enter from the north of Sri Lanka, how they travel further inland and further south within our country. So we need more information to establish exact patterns that of the shorebirds that exist within the country. So we have very good data set when it comes to the northwestern Sri Lanka. Now we are trying to fill the spaces that we have for the south and for the inland parts of the country. Well, right. To share the movements shown by this special bird, the crab plover. The crab plover breeds in the Middle East, and it's a very, an odd bird. It's not a bird that migrates from north to south, but a bird that migrates in a west to east direction. So they breed here only in the Middle Eastern part of the world. They breed. They are very odd kind of breeders when it comes to shorebirds. They make burrows in the sand and lay their eggs in these burrows. Normally, the shorebirds are ground nesting birds, and they don't make a nest like passerines do. But it's just a scraping on the ground lined with pebbles and whatever they can find around. But this one do burrowing. And now this shorebird that we have about 5 or 6 individuals that we tagged in Mannar. We had extensive movements connecting different parts of the Pork Bay shown by these crab plovers. And zooming out further, we could see how they always travel back and forth between India and Sri Lanka. We were trying to actually track it up to the Middle East, but unfortunately, none of the trackers worked until it completes a migration. A reason for that is partly due to the extensive habit of over-summering shown by the crab plovers. Over-summering is, normally during the migratory birds come to Sri Lanka to spend the northern winter. So when the spring comes, they fly north, and during the summer, they breed in their own breeding quarters. But there are some individuals that would skip this summer and that would keep breeding in the particular year, and they decide to stay the summer within their winter quarters itself. So, for example, these crab plovers wintered over summer, spend the summer
Dr. Gayomini, I think there are some signal issues from your side. It's lagging a bit. Hear us? Dr. Gayomini, can you hear us?
It must be a signal issue again, guys. I think Doctor will join shortly.
Shehara, I'm sorry again. I got disconnected. Um,
It's okay.
well, I
It's okay.
think
You can understand the
you can.
situation there, so it's totally fine.
Well, I'm getting a lot of calls today. I'm connected through my phone and with the incident, so all the people start to call me. I can't put it in airplane mode because I'm connected through the phone. So sorry. Yeah. So
Totally
we were
fine.
talking
Yeah.
about crab blowers. We were talking about the crab blowers.
Yes.
And yeah. So our data directed, led us to the idea that they might be breeding within the Pork Bay. The only non-breeding locations, actually, there are only 9 breeding sites in the whole world. That's all these 9 islands are basically offshore islands that are located along this Red Sea and Gulf of Oman area. And we suspect that, so based on our data, it showed us there's a possibility of the crab blowers breeding in the Point Calimere in southeastern Sri Lanka. So we are yet to work on to confirm it 100%, but we have seen the people, some researchers from Point Calimere in India have observed these nesting burrows. So these are the nesting burrows made by the crab blowers. So this could be another breeding site of the crab blowers in the Pork Bay, and it would be the first breeding site, if it is confirmed, that occur outside the Middle East area in the whole world. Right. Yeah. So what else? Okay. So those are the movements that we could uncover when it comes to, within Mannar Island, within Sri Lanka, and within, between Sri Lanka and India, including focusing on the broader Pork Gulf of Mannar region. Now, if we look into the flywheel scale connectivity of the Mannar tagged birds, so this is how, a map when I compile all the tracks that are generated by the tag birds. So this is how it looks like. So we have connections that go all the way up to the Arctic, to subarctic region, to, northeastern China, and over the Himalayas up to Central Asia, and all across the peninsula India, using its both coast and also inland river and lake wetland link routes as well. So if we look into the different species that we tracked, so one of the major species that we work with is Huebling's gulls or Larus viscus gulls. So this is Charmikara who also works with Professor Sampath doing his PhD on the migration strategies that are specially used by the gulls, and their response or how they react to the topography and different types of weather, the wind direction, wind speed, and so on and so forth. How the birds, migratory birds, fine-tune their migratory pathways in response to these external variables or the environmental variables. So this is an ongoing research. Well, we can let you know more in the future with the findings of Charmikara. These are a few individuals. So this is our famous Manike. Manike is really special for us because she's the one who, out of all the tagged birds, so she's the one who completed a complete migration leg. So she was tagged in Mannar, and she reached the Yamal Peninsula from the land of the fishermen in Talay Mannar to the land of the reindeer herders in the Yamal Peninsula in the high Arctic, passing 9 countries, 2 continents. And she's also the one who completed the full annual cycle, and she came back to Mannar right after 6 months of her departure from Mannar. And this is Megha, another individual that we tagged in 2020. So when I prepared this slide, Megha has completed only 2 migration cycles, but Megha has now completed more than 3.5 migratory cycles altogether, and covered a total track of 60,000, I think 70,000 to 70,000 kilometers altogether after we tagged the birds moving between Mannar and Yamal Peninsula here in high Arctic, back and forth every year twice. And this is another individual, Mary, and we have more individuals tagged by Charmikara at the moment, so I have not included all the tracks in this presentation. So anyways, so as I told you, these birds flew over 2 continents, 9 countries, and 25 major cities, connecting different parts of the flyway, different cultures, different people, different landscapes, different habitats, facing a multitude of threats on the way as well. And describing their migratory strategies, we published this paper last year. So this paper describes this is a coastal seabird. Huebling's gulls are coastal seabirds. Based on our tracks, we could identify actually a novel transcontinental migratory passage connecting, northern Indian Ocean here to the Arctic Ocean here, a path that takes the birds from continental Eurasia that spans the north-south distance of more than 5,000 kilometers. So we are describing here how the birds, utilize this corridor to complete their annual migrations. So this was not known for a coastal to be used by the coastal seabirds before we documented before we documented the migration of Huebling's gulls that we tagged in Mannar. And actually, this is a photo that I should have shown you earlier. This is Manike after completing 1 migratory cycle. It is very, very difficult to resight a bird that after we have tagged and released the bird. But our friend, a collaborator of us, Lahiru, who is based on Oletudua in Mannar, he was capable of photographing this individual within a between 3,000 other Huebling's gulls. He could track down a guy and photograph it. And it was very nice to see her after, after 6 months, after her journey to the Arctic, and after she came back. And that's about the Hughlin skulls. And another main species that we work with are brown-headed gulls. So these brown-headed gulls, so we have two individuals I present here, Himakumari and then Sherpatensi. So they are named after because they cross the high altitudes of the Himalayas. Some of the towering peaks of the Himalayas, including Mount Everest, when it comes to Sherpa Tenzing, it was named after as Sherpa Tenzing, actually after honoring the Tenzing Norgay, one of the first climbers of the mountain Everest. So our Sherpa Tenzing was climbing the mountain Everest on the same day of the year where they first, climbed. Tenzing Norgay and Edmund Hillary were climbing the mountain Everest back in 1950s. Yeah, so what we learned from the tagging of the brown-headed gulls was their high altitude migratory strategies. So we could see that they are capable of reaching altitudes as high as 6,000 meters above the mean sea level when it climbing the Himalayas, when it climbing the peaks of the Himalayas. So of course they have to, because that's a topographic barrier, they have to climb up to high altitudes if they are to cross the barrier. But what was surprising, it was surprising to see that how these birds reach even, keep the same high altitudes when they fly across these flat terrain, flat areas of inland India. So that they have flown as high as 6,000 meters or 6 kilometers from the ground level. So we are still conducting further research to understand how why they use this kind of why they use this kind of a strategy. But it must be related to the thermoregulation, and also how to get the favorable wind speeds and wind direction, so they can spend less energy on their migration and complete their journeys easier. So we have also published this paper. If you're interested, the citation, the reference is given here. You can read about and understand further into the migratory strategies that are used by the brown-headed gulls. And this is a close-up of their Himalayan crossings and how Sherpa Tenzing cross closest to Mount Everest. And this is Himakumari flying next to Mount Mannar Island of the Himalayan range. And yeah, these are some of the other species that crosses the Himalayas. So brown-headed gull is not the only species that cross the Himalayas, but all these other species that have been tracked widely are large-bodied species, the species that weigh more than 2 to 4 kilograms. But the brown-headed gull is just about 500 grams in weight. So this is again a reciting of a brown-headed gull made by Lahiru, and I'm not going to take further much time on that. This is another shorebird that we tagged. We call it Vayu, a grey plover that we tracked up to the subarctic region of the Amalia in Russia. And these are some of the ducks that we tagged, and we could track them up to North India, just south of the Himalayas. Some of them has stopped transmitting, and we could track it all the way up to the migratory, the breeding ground. But anyway, these are some of the example species that I wanted to show, and species that I have, migration tracts that are worth of sharing. And after overlapping all these migratory tracts and also adding the ring recovery data into it, when in cases where the birds that have been tagged elsewhere are being recovered in Sri Lanka and being recovered within the Port Bay, I have created this map compiling all this together. And so we could see after this compilation, we could see how Mannar Island And Sri Lanka, especially the Mannar Island in it, is connected to the rest of the globe. So Mannar Island may look like it lies in an isolated corner of the country, but we can see that it's in the center. It's in the center of the global migratory pathways connecting different continents, different countries. So this is our perspective of this least studied and the poorly understood Central Asian flyway. Well, so it's Center for Global Biological Movement. And these are the migratory stories that I have to share. And you might or might not know about the discovery of this Hanuman Plover. This is not a migratory story, but also Mannar plays an important role in evolution. It is an example to show Mannar plays an important role in evolution. So Jude and Bilal here Jude especially worked on the discovery of this Hanuman Plover, and Bilal is continuing further studies. And this shows a prime example of how important Mannar is when it comes to the evolution of life as well, not just migration. And so I think now you have a very good idea about the importance of Mannar when it comes to birds, when it comes to, also the connectivity patterns, or the ecological or the biological connectivity of the globe, of a country to the rest of the Central Asian flyway. And the Mannar faces a lot of challenges at the moment. So as anywhere in the world, when there are wetlands and birds, so these problems it's a commonplace. So this is this slide actually summarizes many threats that the Mannar Island and its birds faces. I'll show you a few very quickly. I know that I'm taking too much time now. So linear infrastructure development, especially the development of renewable energy and associated infrastructure, is a big problem especially in the northwestern part of the country, and especially when it comes to Mannar Island, due to improper planning, and because it's been conducted in an unsustainable manner without looking into the evidence that are revealed by the migratory studies that we conduct, and the knowledge that we have. So if I show you this map shows this is taken from one of the EIAs made for this the phase 2 of the Mannar Wind Power project, and this is not being processed at the moment, but this was one of the proposals given to develop more windmills covering the whole interior parts of the Mannar Island. So these are the operational windmills that exist in Mannar along the south coast, 30 wind turbines, the Thambathamini Wind Power Project. And these are 21 further proposed wind turbines. And this is the phase 2 wind turbine, which plan to build 52 windmills all the way from the Adams Bridge National Park's buffer zone to the buffer zone of the Veditalathib Nature Reserve, covering the entire landscape. So if you see the tracks that we have generated, we can see this whole area is extensively used by birds. And Mannar being a piece of land which 30 kilometers in length and like 3 kilometers in width, act as a topographical bottleneck, channeling migrants that comes from the mainland India, the migrants that cross the Adams Bridge, and then that they come through the Mannar Island and enter mainland Mannar. Some may stay here, some may disperse further south and inland. So when this whole area is blocked, this airspace here is, there's heavy traffic in the airspace here. So there would be a lot of devastating effects. If we, what do you call, if we exceed the carrying capacity of Mannar when it comes to the construction of renewable energy infrastructure like windmills. And there are a lot of effects associated by it. I'm not going to talk about all the effects, but focus on the effects that are mainly associated with the birds. So we have, of course, the collision risk, and then the direct habitat loss through wind farm construction, and more subtle and long-term and hard to measure effect would be the displacement or indirect loss of habitat due to barrier effects caused by wind farms. So in simple terms, they would avoid using the Mannar Island as a migratory gateway to Sri Lanka, but may divert somewhere else, which might not have the same quality of habitats as Mannar Island does. So it can have an impact and on this on the survival of these large numbers of large populations of waterbirds that annually makes Mannar their home. I'll be skipping this. So this is a photo of showing a photo that the brown-headed gull that are ready to departure on migration, how they utilize the same landscape where the windmills are being operated. And another threat is not just the wind farms, but the associated power lines and the collisions that it can pose. There was initially it was proposed that the Mannar should have the Wankale sanctuary should have underground power lines, but it never happened. So about a 7-kilometer stretch of this transmission lines travel to the Wankale sanctuary at the moment, and it creates pollution and various types of effects on the movement pathways of the birds, and there are collisions reported in these power lines as well, just as there are collisions in the windmills. And an analysis that I conducted as a chapter of my thesis, my PhD thesis, I could model how the loss of different sites would affect the connectivity network that are maintained by the birds by their movements between different important wetlands that they use to complete their daily requirements. So when I modeled the loss of Mannar Island, I could see that, so in simple terms, when I removed the wetlands from Mannar, from this network that I constructed, I could see that how the network collapses and some sites becomes isolated, and the population could no longer move effectively, and the network collapses, and it's the integrity deteriorates. So we could show this, quantify this effect and show how population connectivity can collapse as a part of the loss of wetland sites due to wind farm construction. That's a major thing and a hot topic at the moment that have been discussed when it comes to Mannar, the windmills and the birds. And there are more threats, not just windmills. So there is a relentless encroachment. Wetlands are being, encroached and being fenced. The people actually try to make houses, and the buildings in the wetland itself. A Korakulam tank is a good example. So it's a part of the Veritarathim Nature Reserve, but still a lot of illegal encroaching is happening there. And hunting and destructive extraction of resources is happening, but not in a large scale, but still it's a problem. And then when it comes to the breeding shorebirds, breeding seabirds and shorebirds, because they are ground nesting birds, the stray dogs and cats can have devastating effects on the breeding colonies of seabirds, especially in the islands of Rama's Bridge, because they are not adapted to deal with the ground predators. That's why they breed in, the offshore islands to, to be away from the ground predators. But the predators, the ground predators are being, again, encroach. They are making their presence in these islands. So one or two dogs can, eradicate a whole breeding population of ground nesting birds. So that's also a problem. So sand mining, the threats continue. I won't have enough time to talk of all the threats we have and to go in to deeper discussions. Anyway, so okay. So what can we do? What we do, and also what we do as a research group, what we do in our capacity to help sustain the beautiful, the beauty of Mannar, the beauty of the bird life in Mannar, and how we can, and we think about how we can engage the community and help them protect their natural heritage, not just for birds, but also for the people of Mannar. And this is the Korakulam tank that I told you earlier, where this encroachment problem is, highly, encroachment is a big threat. So you can see this is the tank, and here all this stretch that are the red boundary area also belongs to the reserve, but these are all now being clear cut and encroached, and a lot of buildings along this belt, because this is the highway that connects the main road that connects Mannar town to Thalai Mannar. And here what we did was we have, created, we have, secured a piece of land, a little like 40 perch land from the relevant authorities. We are working with the district secretariat and also the Department of Agrarian Development and also the Department of Wildlife Conservation. And we built this bird watching blind within this encroached landscape. So we know at least this piece of land would not be encroached, and it will be kept open for the wildlife and also for the birds, and for the people that who comes to visit, comes to see birds, and also for any researchers, anyone that who wishes to use it. And we conduct different types of programs there. We work with schools, and we have actually launched this Mannar Bird Cup 2 years ago, and we do a lot of school programs. We try to involve community, and we teach the kids about these birds. It's I don't know, you might not know this. There is no single a skilled bird guide that's a local from Mannar. So all the bird guides that visit Mannar to show the birds to people are from outside, not from the Mannar Island. So we are trying to create skilled people, and we're trying to make the people understand how this can become a livelihood for them. There is a high potential for ecotourism development that can help the communities, help the local communities increase their income, and this will create a win-win situation, just like that where this system exists in Singharaja. So the people benefit from the visitors that visit to see birds, and in turn, because they know that their livelihood depends on the birds, they would themselves help protect the birds and their habitats. So that's the idea behind our bird club, to engage the community and work together with them to make the things better. So I'm coming to the almost to the closure of my my talk today. I would like to share this little video clip with you of the story of this bird lying down and the beginning of the Mannar Bird Club. So this is open at the moment. So at any time if you visit to Mannar, you should come and visit this place.
I appreciate Rebecca and the doctor and the team because we have taken many effort. However, the more effort and come out from that overcome this struggle and finish this work for the people. So thank you so much. I think it will be very helpful and in future can protect this environment and birds and the same. So thanks so much. Together we
So we can always strike a balance. So there are threats, yes, there are, a lot of challenges, but still, if we have, enough information and if we are willing to act and if we are committed and if we have, at least a bit of broad intelligence, we can always strike a balance and we can do, evidence-based management and conservation prioritization based on that and move forward with those. So, before I finish, so I think this is the future of Mannar. So we have, this is a school that we work with in Mannar Pier. So with them, actually, with this school, we are having this program actually a day after tomorrow. If any of you plan to visit Mannar, you can come and visit us. So we'll be drawing, we are spending a day of, bird art that we'll be drawing on the interior and exterior of the bird blind that we constructed that I showed you earlier. So we will be working with the kids while do a relaxed day of bird watching as well. So you all are invited if you have any plans to visit Mannar in this weekend. And yeah, with that, I think, yes, I have come to the end of the presentation. And yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, you can direct it to me. And thank you very much, Shehara, right? Shehara, for bearing with me. And I sincerely apologize for all the trouble that you had to face during this event because of my the situation. Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Gayomi. Actually, you don't have to apologize, actually, because we can totally understand the situation you're in. And even with those such kind of difficulties, you are here today. guiding us. So that's what we actually admire of you. So as Dr. Gayomi said, if you guys have any questions to ask from her, you can unmute yourself and ask from her, or else you can put it into the chat.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, so first of all, so I'm from Mannar, and I learned a lot about my
you're
own
from Mannar.
hometown. Yeah, from this session, so
Uh,
actually the problem, yeah, go on. So, hello,
I
can you hear me?
didn't get the question. Did he come?
No, yeah, I understand the signal issues there. So, so the thing is,
What was the question
so
again?
you,
I think he
no,
didn't ask the
so
question yet,
Oh,
right?
he didn't ask it yet. Okay.
Yeah. He was, yeah. You can go ahead. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So basically, first of all, thank you for your services and all the things you do for my hometown, I guess, and the island, the beautiful island. And the question I have is, how do you actually track the birds? So can you go a bit in details, like technical details? So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Oh, right. Okay, so we have, there are different types of bird tracking technologies that are used by the migration researchers. So here, the technology that we use are, GPS, GSM trackers. So it would, takes with the positioning of the satellites, it would take a GPS position, just like it has a SIM, just like a small version of a mobile phone. And through the GSM network, it would transmit it it would update the cloud server. And through the cloud server, through an app in the phone or through a web-based platform, we can get the real-time data. So the only thing, the bird has to be within the GSM coverage. So when the gulls goes into the islands of the Arctic, so for the whole summer, they won't transmit, but the trackers, the data will be archived within the tracker. And when it comes back to the mobile coverage to populated areas, so it would transmit, it would update the server, and we can get the data. So this is the technology of the trackers that we use, just like a mobile phone.
So how is the battery powered or something? So or
These are
is it
solar power trackers. Yeah.
So
Yeah, so the power trackers. So the bird, normally the water birds, they are in open landscapes, so with good sunlight. So in the winter, again, this can be a problem. So if not in the yes, in the winter. So so if there is not enough sunlight, and if especially for the birds that keeps in sheltered places, there will be challenges with the battery charging. But when it comes to the water birds, we don't have that issue because they are in open landscapes. But normally, if there is the battery, if there is high voltage, they would transmit frequently, and during night they would transmit with the battery power after being charged during the daytime. But then the data the data collection frequency and the transmission frequency drops during the night. So for example, if they collect data like every 5 minutes during the day, it will collect data like just like every 2 hours at night, something like that. Yes.
Yes. Thank you for the information.
Okay.
Thank you. So anyone else have any questions from the audience? You can either put it into the chat or you can directly ask. Okay,
It seems
let's
like
not take.
that.
Yeah, it seems like there's no more questions from the audience. So once again, thank you so much, Dr. Gayomini. I think we all had a great time learning about the importance of Mannar as a globally critical site for bird migration. And also, we should give you a special thank for making it here today under so many difficulties we know. So truly grateful for your dedication and your support and your guidance. And as the GYBN Sri Lanka, we will definitely connect with you in future work as well. And we know you're already doing great work out there. And also, we are wishing all the best luck in your future endeavors as well. So, thank you so much once again for joining with us today.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Shehara and Avishka and Dakshina and everybody here today. And I just saw that like you Darshan, right? So there are some people from Mannar, so you can talk to me anytime. I think I have put my email address in the or else you can get my contacts from the organizers. So anybody can join our programs if you wish. So just let me know. Yeah, that's it. Okay.
Yeah, definitely we will share your contact numbers and contact details with them. Definitely. Thank you so much, Doctor.
Okay.
So before winding up the session, I would like to invite you all, if you can, please switch on your camera so that we can take a group photograph. It won't take much time. So okay, I think since it's the night time, most of you guys might be having some work or else. So it's totally fine. So thank you so much everyone for joining with us today, and we hope you guys will join with us in the future monthly talks as well. And have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shehara. Thank you, Dr. Gayomini. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Gayomini. You're welcome.